Hello everyone, Kurt Alpha here, and welcome back to another episode from Hopefitter Labs. Today we're going to be going into two new plays in regards to the Eighth Master Dagger. They are the next two that deal with unarmed unarmed attacks against someone that's utilizing a low line thrust against it. Now, unlike before, where we're utilizing that Mezza Porta di Ferro, we're using Mezza Porta di Ferro doubled as well as crossed. And we're going to look at why these things right here may give us access to deeper plays right here when it comes down to a low bind or a strong key or anything like this right here when he talks about later on. We're going to also see similarly here how strength, size, space, everything here really does work in context to one another. We're also going to be looking here about the counter with this because within these two plays right here, he talks about the counter within there, which is a very important key facet. So with that being the case here, let's get into it. Okay, so this week here, we're going to be doing essentially the last bits of Eighth Master. Again, not a very big section right here. It's talking about those thrust lines, that lower thrust line to the guts. This one here, however, and again, this is one of the anomalies I really like about up into this portion is typically first master cover, dagger comes in, everything comes off of this position of shoving up. In Eighth Master, we start with a dagger, and then we end up with our hands. So what do I think is actually happening here is that Eighth Master is talking about how you, dagger comes in, stop something with a reinforced brace, okay? That's what we're talking about here. So Eighth Master could be with a reinforced brace of a dagger like this, use my forearm, or utilizing my hands across this way. A couple of things about this. So he talks about two variants of this right here. He says it's good for in and or out of armor. I agree with him on this, especially with some of our CIs. Although people that are way shorter and have access to low line thrusts, there's better ways to handle this in my opinion. Not that I'm not challenging what Fiore says, but I'm saying like if someone's really short on me, I might miss this and I'm in a bad spot. And I've actually had myself pulled down, had my hair grabbed into spots right here to make things really nasty. So all I'm saying is there may be a way of like if the person's really short, I might have to come low to work across. Think like we said before within like that within Fifth Master where someone grabs on. He comes right here. I start working the arm, dagger comes in, shift, and then move into that. So I might swat off to the side with this. Height difference variances, that's a big part about this. But for this purpose of Eighth Master, the two we're going to be talking about is we're utilizing that Mezza Porta di Ferro doubled and Mezza Porta di Ferro crossed. Both of these are very strong and they are very easy to mash down with a lot of weight. With someone's arm coming in, remember one hand coming in with a dagger shot, it's all one arm going into this. So me popping into this is reinforced. This is a stronger shape as opposed to this. This has got length and speed, whereas this has got strength. It's got strength but no reach. So they counter each other in certain ways. Both of these right here, again, good for both in and out of armor, and they both give access to what Fiore says is for that lower lock, which we see out of Third Master off the Revezzo side. So how we get there in that case right here, to me, is very interesting. These are the two that we see here. I'm going to flash them across here. I'm just going to go back to the first one so we can go back to it. But these are the two images that we have for this play sequence. And essentially what's going to happen right here is whether it's this or this, the play is still the same. And actually, I think for what's happening right here is it may be important to note they might be happening at the same time. Think pressa. Dagger shot comes in. This is off right here. I then press it to this, which allows me access. So the first cover mechanism, as we're in this position here, that Mezza Porta di Ferro doubled, shot comes in, he makes this cover right here. Now it might show like he's on top of the dagger right here. I wonder if that's artist rendition. It might also be, maybe he's saying that you have, I don't know. But the point being, I'm coming down here, once again, I'm not putting my inside of the arm, I'm using the outside of my arm into this case. Soft, deadly bits, this is bone. If I have to risk anything, risk the bone. So pop in, thrust, I'm here with this. And from this position right here, he talks about how I can gain access and get into the arm, into that lower lock. Now, a big part about this to me is that I have to, at some point in time, disengage one of these hands. So in, shot comes in, I'm going to stop this before it gets even close to this. That's a big part about this that makes sense. If I try to stop way out here, he's going to stick me. That's right in my guts. Again. In my guts. So it's about stopping the arm before he gets to terminus of posta longa. In. In. And again, that shot right there, it sucks. That's bone on bone radial, right? And on this right here, I have the access to hook and turn and roll into the position, which tells me right immediately into that lower lock position. All of that is, and we're going to go to the other side so we can see this. So from that covering mechanism, shot comes in, stop it. Right here, I'm going to let go and grab. I can turn and pull that elbow, and I'm going to wrap up here into this position here. Ironically, I just stabbed it in the back of his head area and here with this, but now I have the ability to control him from here because I have the lock. The left hand that's in, remember, it's right hand grabbing the wrist. Shot, boom, in with this right here. That really sucks. Open up the hand, grab for the elbow. Think right here that you're going to rotate this. From here, hook and wrap. I can take the dagger, drop it, and I have ability to detain him. We'll go a little bit closer so we can see this. So one more time, in, I stop it before it gets terminus. I have space right here. All this space. From here, I'm going to let go of my hand. In, over top, by pressing this back. If he tries to retract and stab again, I've got the space here to stop him with this. This does not mean that he's not going to grab with the other arm here. Please understand this. I'm just talking about the defense. Because, by the way, what do you think the counter is? So in here, I stop him at this point right here. I disengage my arm. I'm going to grab this elbow, and I'm going to turn, rock, and roll. Here, out, here. Grab the elbow. Can we roll up your sleeve, Professor?
Absolutely.
In. I'm grabbing this nasty part of his arm. I really want that to hurt. And now I've got him into that lower lock. Detain the dagger here. Don't like him. Hit him to the ground. Something along those lines. Okay. The second one that we have here is we see the doubled one. Now, both of these, again, the thing that I think that makes these things work is you have to stop it before they make posta longa. As he shoots in, I'm going to utilize that Tutto Porta di Ferro double crossed. I pop across this way right here. This to me is a strike as much as anything else here. Dagger comes in, wham, like this. Try and make surface there. I don't think it's this. It's so much like you're keeping this tight. So I'm in this position. The thing that's nice about this right here, and again, these tie together for both, is off of this, my hand is already in position to let go. So unlike this where I have to disengage to come around, I'm here crossed up, I have the arm, and I can turn and pop in. Tutto Porta di Ferro crossed. From here, trace up, grab, turn, rotate. One more time here, a little bit closer. Dagger shot comes in, wham, I stop him before it gets terminus. That's still really close, but I'm hollowed out. Hollowing out is a big part about this type of mechanism. Find the elbow, take the elbow. Now, I think you're going to notice something right there immediately that's going to be a huge factor when we talk about other things here to consider. So, countering this. Remember, if he does Tutto Porta di Ferro, double crossed, so that right hand onto the left. He stopped me before its terminus. The moment he starts to reach across with his arm into this type of position here, from over top, because that's going to be the part that's going to allow me to wrap around this way. So go. The big part about this right here is about when you do it. Note his arms, so it says. Note the leg. Note the arms. And from right here, so see, the moment he brings his arm over top is when I'm going to shove him. What's the counter? That's a juicy elbow right there. So just push the elbow. In, wham, he starts to move, I pop up. And you can see how that's up. And this is really nasty. I'm grabbing for his tricep because this is not very nice to do to somebody. Up, pop, turn. And if I really don't, if I don't like him here, I don't, because I'm going to step with it. Boom, up, turn here, in. And the closer I am to him, the more control I have of his body. We'll go a little bit closer here. So in, boom, arm comes up. That's the elbow we're talking about. Pop, turn, stab, stab. Because he's got no elephant this way, so I can literally walk into that direction. Pop him up and over. I can step here and walk into him any day here, no problem. Now we're going to talk about the Mezza Porta di Ferro crossed. In this case right here, he shoots. Now remember, this is a lot faster for him. It's a lot faster for him because all he has to do is trace up to the elbow. And he's automatically there, and then he rotates and puts me down to that lower lock. Right? So if I see him doing this, again, this is where we have to remember the lessons of Apprezzari. If you see someone standing here like this, maybe you don't attack him straight out like this. Maybe you have to understand that this guy actually knows what the hell he's doing right here. Big pieces about this. So dagger shot comes in. If I see him crossing his hands in this, don't wait. Can't wait. Because if he's just coming down with that and then moving up across, if I sit here like this and wait to see, he's not going to give me the opportunity. Okay? Remember, a mind with a plan is going to execute when that plan is effective. If he's just swatting at me, I don't have to worry too much about this. Again, we're just doing some play right here. Not necessarily a lethal dagger attack. So that's all it really comes down to when it comes down to this covering mechanism. That essentially, in a case right here, again, find the elbow, push him up and over, and put him over the leg. It's all about making that whole body structure. In this case right here, we're doing dagger to dagger on this, right? But remember, when it comes down to this, there's also the potential that this could be any other weapon that's out there within his arsenal. Ultimately, if he comes on the other side here, or if he came on his left side, maybe he's tricky. Do the same thing, I push him over across. Those are key components that come down to this. All right? And with that being the case here, that's really going to wrap up what we have here as far as for these two other plays where we utilize Mezza Porta di Ferro doubled and crossed against somebody who's coming out with the dagger. Again, countering is finding the elbow, immediately finding into that third master play. Key indicators right there, key points of discovery.
So you can see with the video that right now, again, we are talking about utilizing those braces in the lower area right here. Now remember, I don't think it's necessarily going like that. You're trying to utilize as much space as possible right here, which gives you access to either side of the arm. Interestingly enough, in this case right here, it does pay off a lot more to have that Mezza Porta di Ferro crossed as opposed to the doubled mechanism, because the reality is you have the hand right there in place to grab the wrist and go into the elbow. I think this is very interesting here, especially when it comes down to what you're trying to do here, because the reality is by trying to take away the arm and everything else with this, I think it's very important that we understand that we have the space necessary, that your arm placement is very important. If I'd been the other way around here, well, now I only have this axis because my hand's above, otherwise I have to unwrap it, which makes it very difficult when talking about dealing and contending with dagger attacks. It also points out that the guy knew what he was talking about, and that why you want that right over left concept, because that frees up the right hand to be able to do the things you may need to do off of the initial cover. That's a big part about that. Interestingly enough, and I didn't message this in the video, but if you look at what is happening right here, I don't believe he's shoving his hands into the dagger. The point right here is he's talking about going into the body, into that arm, which allows them to be able to stop the flow of the shot to the lower area. As always right here, we're utilizing weight, disruption right here, and into a spot right here where you can make an effective strike on somebody to stop and then work and play into a different area. The counter with this is very easy because, again, it is just literally push the elbow. And by pushing the elbow, we get ourselves to the other side relatively quick. And it boils down to, once again, we are looking at the anatomy of the inside portion. If my left leg is forward, I want to push over my left. If my right leg is forward, I want to push over that direction here, because it's going to turn the whole body a lot more with this, in concert with it. And with a low body position on this right here, if I come into this right here, I'm already moving down, which makes it easier for me to turn into the direction of the arm. So again, not very complicated, but at the same time too, well, I shouldn't say it's not very complicated. The complicated portion here is that when you're off that roll to the elbow, and how you have to shift and turn somebody into that lower lock, and how you can make those very strong plays that we see in Third Master here available to us. So that's going to conclude this right here. Again, please let me know what your thoughts are out there. I don't know how do you see these things being utilized? How have you used them before? What have you been training with this right here? Are there things in this right here that I missed? Love to hear your thoughts out there and your considerations. Again, for my viewers and subscribers, and for anyone that's tuning in for the first time, I want to grow this channel, and that is not possible without any of you. So please, thank you so much for all the support. I appreciate it. And please don't forget, like, subscribe, share with a friend out there, and don't forget to hit that bell to know when new content is being dropped. Until next time, everybody, as always, thank you for stopping by. Train well, be safe out there, and fight on. I'll see you all soon.